Hello, Paulo Leite here, record collector. A few hours ago, I was in Decatur, Georgia, and I decided to visit the local Goodwill Store and see what albums they got. As I was sifting through the CDs, which are always a big mess, I realized there was a number of good musicals there scattered between the trash. Well, musicals are not exactly my cup of tea, although there are a few ones that I really like. So I decided to get all the musicals on CDs, put them together, and leave them there all together just for you. If you like musicals on CDs, if you are in the area, and if you drive there right now, they may still be there just the way I left them. A compilation of Andrew Lloyd Webber works. Highlights from The Phantom of the Opera. The Music Man. The Producers. South Pacific. Moving Out. The Roar of the Grease Paint. The Smell of the Crowd. 1776. Annie, one of my favorite musicals. Someone bought the disc 1 of this Evita. The Phantom of the Opera, complete in 2 discs. The Sound of Music, the original Broadway version with Mary Martin. And here is the film version with Julie Andrews. Bye Bye Birdie. Brigadoon. I Want to Be a Actor Lady, and other hits from early musical comedies. Candide, with music by Leonard Bernstein. A compilation of Broadway hits. Les Miserables, complete in 3 discs. Street Scene by Kurt Weill. I'm a huge fan of Kurt Weill and Lotilenia. And speaking of Lotilenia, Cabaret, the original Broadway production with Jill Haworth, Jack Guilford, Bert Convy, and Lotilenia. Fiorello. Damn Yankees. This is one very funny music comedy with Gwen Verdon. Anything Goes by Cole Porter, the 1962 off-Broadway version. Another compilation of Broadway songs. Chicago, the movie soundtrack. Crazy for You, with music by George and Ira Gershwin. Bells Are Ringing. I have always loved Judy Holliday. She later did the film version with Dean Martin. All CDs here cost only $2.52. I think these are great prices. Then, I decided to look into their vinyl and see if there was anything that you should try. I was pleasantly surprised with some vintage titles. This edition of The Singing Nun has a beautiful gatefold with an illustrated storybook inside from 1963. Camelot, the movie soundtrack with Julie Andrews and Richard Burton. This is the 1965 edition. Finian's Rainbow. Now, this is one very interesting record. Originally, this was released on 6 shellac 78 RPM records back in 1947. This marks Columbia's first release of a Broadway recording. However, a year later, Columbia also released this title on its new Microgroove LP format, just to show off the format's capabilities. That release was in mono. The version I have here is the stereo version released in 1961. Dances for Orchestra with the Philadelphia Orchestra with Eugene Ormandy. This is a very good compilation of movie themes, some great recordings here. Rachmaninoff plays Chopin. This was released in 1970, but the recordings range from 1920 to 1930. Enoch Light and the Light Brigade. Another interesting release. Enoch Light is a name that has pretty much faded from memory. He was a musician, band leader, music producer, and recording engineer. He helped popularize the gatefold package, and he experimented extensively with stereophonic sound. In fact, his orchestra sounds are frequently jumping from one channel to the other, creating an effect called ping-pong recording that even today remains fascinating. This is a quadraphonic version of it. Le Sylphide by the Philharmonic Orchestra of New York. This is very good, but the best thing on this album is one of the earliest recordings of Uirapuru, a beautiful symphonic poem by Brazilian composer Heitor Villa-Lobos. Oh God, some child had fun with this one. And probably this one used to belong to someone named Jack Clark. The Robe by Alfred Newman. Newman was one of the best composers during the Hollywood studio era. This soundtrack is beautiful. On a Clear Day You Can See Forever. This is the 1970 movie soundtrack with Barbra Streisand and Yves Montand. Barbara was also on the Broadway original version from 1965. I'm a huge fan of Aram Khachaturian. This Masquerade Suite is one of his best works. This is a recording from 1947. You had a great taste, Mr. Clark. I'm also a big fan of Aaron Copland, especially Fanfare for the Common Man, a composition that has been copied countless times in movies. I remember watching Leonard Bernstein on TV when I was a kid, introducing Aaron Copland, who conducted this piece. It was instant love. My Blue Heaven by Gene Austin. Gene Austin was one of the earliest crooners. Before Sinatra, before Crosby, there was Gene. Another one with the Philadelphia Orchestra, this one from 1959. The Living Voices. Simply put, this was the best easy listening ever made. A genre that pretty much disappeared from the music industry. I am a huge fan. And what a beautiful metallic cover. And finally, an archive release of the Goldberg Variations from 1980. All of these albums for just $1. I did not get any of those. They are still there just for you. You're welcome. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. More great content coming soon. And don't forget, visit record shops, buy records. Music is life. Thank you.